Welcome to Book Chat Live. Join us on Spreaker and comment during the podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Tamara from shelfaddiction.com and welcome to episode 57. Today on Book Chat Live, I have a mixed bag of topics for you, and since I decided to do this live episode, if you're listening, feel free to chime in on any of the topics I'm talking about today. I'll be talking about my 2016 book challenges. How did I do with those? What's on my agenda for 2017? And I also have a few Christmas and holiday read recommendations, one from myself and one from two other people. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like and share it. Show your support by rating the podcast and leaving a positive review. The podcast can be found on the Spreaker app, iTunes, Google Play Music, the Stitcher app, and more. If you'd like to comment on something you hear during today's episode, leave a comment below. I will respond if it's live. If not, I'll respond later. Or you can find me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. So what is going on, right? I usually don't have live episodes for my book-related podcast, but I'm doing one today. And that is because I literally have a house full of people. And with a house full of people, it's virtually impossible to get anything done. And I really relate to people with a full house now. Normally, it's just me and my husband, so I have lots of quiet time to record and edit and do all these fun things. But with a house full of people, I figured it would be easier to just get online and just talk to you all live and just see how we do. So I apologize in advance if this is a little bit, scattered. I'm trying to be organized, but we'll see how it goes. So let's start with my 2016 goals. If you set any reading goals for yourself for this past year, let me know what they are and how you did with your goals. I did okay with mine. I wish I had done better, but not to make excuses, but I do have a few, of course. Like I got, a few promotions this year and work has been hectic. So even though I managed to read a good amount of books, I did not hit my goal, which is unfortunate. So as far as my Goodreads.com challenge, I originally set out to read 62 books this year. Now, 62 books is actually not that much in the scheme of things regarding, bloggers and YouTubers that read books, aka booktubers. This is a really minuscule amount of books compared to some of the other bloggers. So I didn't read 62. But I did get done 52, which is ironically what I did last year. I had all the intentions in the world to get 62 books done, but for some reason, I just couldn't make it happen. What I did find was interesting about the whole thing was when I sat down and I actually counted the amount of 5-star or 5 bookmarks as I do reviews that I gave. I only gave 9 books. 9 books out of 52 got 5 stars. It was kind of shocking. I didn't realize it was that few, but in all, honestly, I know I'm a hard sell, right? I know that I don't give 5 stars freely. I'm not one of those people that loves everything and rates everything with 5. So you earn it when I give you a 5. So let me give you a few ideas of the books on the 5 bookmark rating scale, and I'd be happy to even share a few of the 4 bookmark ratings that stood out to me as memorable. So if you don't know, if you listen to my podcast or at least the bookish episodes, then I love paranormal romance and urban fantasy. So of course, several of the books on my 5-star rating are in that genre. So we'll start with my old faithful J.R. Ward. She writes the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and her most recent release was The Beast in that series, and I think that came out February or something like that. I don't remember the exact date, but that earned 5 stars, and that is the 14th book in that series, and I just really enjoyed it. Also in the same genre is Outtakes from the Grave by Janine Frost. Now, this is from the Night Huntress series. This is 7.5. The Night Huntress series actually ended, so I was excited to see a 7.5. And I got to visit with all my old favorite characters again. For those of you that are familiar with this series, that is the Cat and Bones. You know, that couple, the couple that is featured in this series. It's just amazing. If you're looking to try urban fantasy or paranormal romance, I definitely recommend, the Night Huntress series. It's just awesome. So Outtakes from the Grave got 5. I think that was it in that genre. Nope, there's one more. Now, The Beast and Outtakes from the Grave, those are both adult paranormal romance urban fantasy titles. The next one was White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a, new adult series, and this was the first book in the series. I did read the entire series, but the only one that got the 5 bookmark rating was book 1. This was very good. And if you don't know what new adult is, I'll just fill you in on that. It's not young adult, but it's not fully adult. So most young adults are like, high school, right? 9th grade to 12th grade. And new adult is pretty much college age, like 18 to say 26 or 27 years old. And once you get around 26 or 27, you kind of fall in that adult category. And it just depends on who's writing it and what the topic is and how serious it is if it's adult or new adult. But this particular book does fall under new adults. And I have read plenty of things by Jennifer Armentrout, so I definitely recommend it. If you like gargoyles and angels, it's a little bit out of the realm of the standard paranormal romance. There are no vampires, there are no werewolves, there are no zombies, but you have gargoyles and angels. So that is pretty interesting. Of course, you have demons, obviously. If you have demons, angels, you always have demons. Now, also on my 5 list, I have some young adult titles. Well, actually, I have 2 young adult titles, maybe 3. I don't know. So the first one is Morning Star by Pierce Brown. I believe I've mentioned this earlier in the year on the podcast, but he wrote the Red Rising trilogy. Morning Star is the 3rd book in that trilogy, and it is stellar. I just loved it. This was a very memorable trilogy for me, and I definitely recommend that. Also, let's see. Oh, yes. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Now, I dare say this falls in the new adult category as well, but it's definitely contemporary romance. I just posted a YouTube video review about this a few months back, and I encourage you to check it out. I don't want to spoil anything. I think my review is generally spoiler free. I talk about some things in generalities, so you won't be totally spoiled, but it gives you a good idea about the seriousness of the content of this book without, giving everything away. So definitely check that out if you're interested in contemporary romance. All right, so another book that I really just adored, and actually me and a few book club members were talking about this book again a few days ago, and that is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman, and she has a co-writer. I can't think of his name right now. Jay Kristoff, there it is. And they have 2 books out, actually, Illuminae and Gemina. And both of those made 5 bookmark ratings. They're both stellar. I mean, are the most unusual, different, unique science fiction young adult reads that I've seen in a long time. They're not your standard book. They're not a graphic novel. They are told via like a whole series of dossiers. So you're reading ship logs and conversations via text and emails and other interesting things. And not only are you, reading about the characters, but you're reading about what's going on with the past. You get to see several sides of the story, and the book physically looks very cool. When you are flipping through it, it looks like actual documents that you would find in a dossier file. So that was very, very cool. I liked all of those 5-star bookmark. The first one we saw by Aaron Hartzler, that was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. I remember that it's really resonated with my book club. We had lots to say on the topic of, consent, high schoolers, boys will be boys mentality. All of that is covered in this book. And then also, so that is young adult fiction, right? So then another book that really resonated with me, and we read it, the book club read it, maybe a month ago now. It was Stand Your Ground by Victoria Christopher Murray. That is all about the Stand Your Ground law. And that is another title that the book club really got emotionally invested while reading and discussing this book. So it definitely stuck with me, and I can see it sticking with me for a while. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll through my list and see if anything else just pops out at me. Another one, Necessary Lies by Diane Chamberlain. This is historical fiction, and I say historical, but I think it was the 50s that this book took place in. And it has a lot to do with, I think it was South Carolina or North Carolina. It was definitely the Carolinas. And it was about a family that was very poor and a social worker that wanted to help them. And all of the women's issues that were happening at that time. And, it's just, I don't want to get into it because it's very emotional and I don't want to give anything away. But if you're looking for a historical fiction that is like women's fiction that would be a great book club option, I definitely recommend this one. And I think I can mention one more. I have a lot of 4-star ratings. If you follow me on Goodreads, you'll see that I have a ton of 4-star ratings. So anything that is a 4-star, you can pretty much assume that I recommend it, definitely. If I don't recommend it, it'll get a 2 or a 1. So if anything that's a 4, if it's in your preferred genre or something that looks interesting to you, I definitely say give it a try. So let's see. Okay, I'll give this one a mention, and that is Fever Born, and that is by Karen Marie Moning. This is another in my favorite genre, which is paranormal romance, urban fantasy for adults. This is the 8th installment in the Fever series, and I just loved it. It did earn a 4, but I just really love these characters. They have really grown on me, and I have to be honest, if you have not read the book so far, in my opinion, it was a slow start, for me anyway. So I feel like I kind of struggled with the first book, but after the first book, things just really got good, and I just will keep reading these until the series is finished. So I definitely recommend that. So that's a little glimpse at, books that I enjoyed from this year. So definitely feel free to check those out. Next week, I'll be talking about the top 6 audiobooks from the second half of 2016. So definitely come back next week and I will have the second part of my top audiobook recommendations. I had some earlier this year. I think it was June that I posted that. So if you want to know what I was enjoying for the first half of the year, definitely check that out. But next week I will have the second half of the year. All right, so let's talk about 2017. We're going to make some goals. Wait, back up. Before I get to 2017, I totally forgot to mention that I had an audiobook goal. And I forgot about that because I made my goal. Exactly. Okay. So I love audiobooks, guys. And you probably know this if you read shelfaddiction.com. So I had a goal of 28 audiobooks. and I listen to exactly 28 audiobooks. Now I'm listening to 2 right now. If I get those done before December 31st, then I will have 30 audiobooks read for the year. So let's see how I do. But as of now, I made my goal. I've completed 28 audiobooks. So that's not bad. 28 audiobooks and 52 books. Can always improve. And that's what I plan to do for 2017. So I set my goal for 2017 similarly as I did this year. I'm going to keep it really vague. And if you're into challenges, you can search reading challenges and you will find lots, hundreds, I dare say, all over the internet. You'll find, romance reading challenges, YA reading challenges, series reading challenges, audiobook challenges, reread challenges. Any kind of reading challenge you can imagine, you can find it. So definitely give that a look if you're looking to read something specific or you have a goal that is more, targeted toward a certain type of genre. Definitely check that out. But I'm keeping mine, broad. I'm going to do the Goodreads challenge again, and I will challenge myself to 62 books. We will see if I can do it. I hope that my job slows down a bit so I'm actually able to read on my own lunch hour again. Oh, I would love to have my lunch hour to myself once again. I so rarely eat lunch anymore. It's a sad thing. But I'm hoping that I can gain that hour back. You would be surprised how much reading you can get done in an hour. And if you times that by 5 days a week, you would knock out an amazing amount of reading if you read for your lunch hour every day. So that is what my plan is. I really want that time back. I'm thinking about taking it regardless. I need the time. It is what it is. I need my breaks. I need to read. And reading rejuvenates me. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing next year. And I think I will also set my audiobook goal at 35, which will push me a little bit. We'll see what I can do. I really would like to listen to more audiobooks. I would also like to incorporate a few more nonfiction audiobooks, maybe business audiobooks, self-help audiobooks. My blog is generally fiction only as far as the book portion. I do have a sprinkle of nonfiction business books, but I'd like to fit a few more in. It's time for me to get some more knowledge outside of enjoying fiction, and I think I will get that accomplished through audiobooks this year. So maybe since I upped it by, 7, maybe I'll make all 7 of those, enrichment type listening tools. We'll see. So 5 to 7 of those will definitely be nonfiction, or probably business related or organizing, or anything that I think I might need would fall under that. So you guys, let me know if you've set reading goals for yourself for 2017. Let me know what they are. If you had goals for yourself for last year in 2016, let me know how they are as well. I definitely hope that you will check out the blog and join one of the challenges with me. Join the Goodreads challenge and keep track. See how many books you can get done. And don't get aggressive. If you don't read a lot, start with 12. One a month, read 12 books this year. If you join a book club, you will read 12 books this year. If you join the Shelf Addiction online book club, you will read 12 books this upcoming year. So definitely challenge yourself, stretch yourself a little bit and see what you could do. I think you'd be surprised. I know I was definitely surprised. One year, I feel like it was 2014. I read something like 75 books. I think that was my all-time high. If I can remember what I was doing that year, I should try to duplicate it. It was amazing how many books I was able to read that year. So, like I said, you'd be surprised. Give it a go. All right, so we're done with that. So let's talk a little bit about the Christmas genre / holiday genre titles. I did have a few suggestions given to me, so we'll just go through them. So the first suggestion came from one of my book clubs, and it was her name is Marilyn, and she recommended this to the group, and that is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is a classic. It's fiction, it's young adult, it's historical fiction, it's definitely a little romance, and everyone knows Little Women, right? I mean, if you don't, you've been under a rock. I mean, check out Little Women, the movie. Definitely read the book first. But, I mean, it's kind of Christmassy or holiday-y because it happens, most of the story happens around that time of year. But it's definitely like 19th century story about four sisters on a journey, as they grow up. So, they talk about gender roles, it's a post-Civil War America. It's definitely holiday feeling, sort of, and everyone loves a classic, right? So that is a good recommendation, and I definitely say read that if you haven't. So now we have another recommendation, and this is, the book is about 10 years old, and this one was provided by Jen, also in my book club. She recommends the autobiography of Santa Claus, The Christmas Chronicles. Now, this is by Jeff Guinn, Guinn, and this is a fiction piece. And I guess this started by, he was writing a piece, he was assigned to write the piece or something like that, but it turned into a book, and it's definitely holiday, Christmas, historical fiction, and I think it has some fantasy aspects. I don't know how much. I haven't read this book, but it definitely came recommended. The ratings are pretty good on Goodreads, so definitely, check that out if you think you'd like to read something that would get you in the holiday mood. Now, I had one recommendation. I recommended this to a couple of people, including my book club. Now, I read this last year, and 2 years ago I read this book. Yeah, and I actually have a video on my YouTube channel, and the book is My True Love Gave to Me, 12 Holiday Stories. It was edited by Stephanie Perkins, and it includes 12 stories by 12 popular authors, 12 short stories rather, and those authors include Stephanie Perkins, Holly Black, Allie Carter, Gail Forman, David Levithan, and more, Lainey Taylor. So if you like young adult, this is perfect for you because this is a young adult short story, a compilation, and it's all about Christmas and the holidays. And some of the stories are really good and some are so-so, but it's short stories. You can't win them all. I definitely recommend giving it a go. It came out in 2014, and it's definitely fun. And if you want to read a little something without committing to a book, this is a great choice. So I think that's all I have for today. I don't have much else. So I covered my goals for the year and the recommendation. So we're going to start a new recommendation. So let's go ahead and give me your recommendations for a nonfiction self-help book. I don't want a diet book. I don't want a book about depression, but we're talking about self-help. So it's self-improvement, right? So I want a self-improvement book. Let me clarify. So it could be a business book. It could be, organizing or multitasking or investing. It could be anything, a money book, share. I am not the queen of nonfiction, but my resident nonfiction person is not here. But go ahead and let me know what you guys would like to listen to, or you recommend, whether you read it or listen to it on audiobook. Anything that you think would be a great idea for me to check out, go ahead and leave me the comment on shelfaddiction.com. There is a speak pipe button that you can press and leave me a voicemail, or you can send your recommendation to me via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. So again, the email address is info@shelfaddiction.com. Send me your recs. I would love to hear them, and you will be mentioned or you could be heard on the podcast. So that is it for today, guys. I really had a great time chit-chatting with you, and I hope that you are able to leave me a comment and let me know what's going on for your reading challenges. And that's all. So before you go, please don't forget to share and like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And that's it. So I will talk to you guys soon. And be sure to hit that follow button on Spreaker, the only place where you can listen live, or subscribe and listen later on iTunes, Google Play Music, or YouTube. That's it for today. Thanks for listening. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, guys.